Telecom giants in the US are set for a major victory if Washington goes ahead with its plan to repeal the so-called net neutrality rules. It's likely to have a direct impact too on internet speeds in the United States. So this is how it works then. Currently, internet providers do have to treat all online traffic equally at the moment, and that means they can't block or slow down any particular content. The authority behind the push, though, to end net neutrality, the FCC, says it could allow trillions of dollars to be invested into web services by the private sector. Well, it sounds good so far, but that may not be good news for consumers, and that's because it could allow telecom companies to create fast lanes for traffic and prioritise certain sites over others too, and internet users may be forced to pay more to access content at the speeds they're currently used to. Well, Dotcom, the founder of Mega Upload, has weighed in on this controversy surrounding the US government's plan to overturn net neutrality. The entrepreneur, who's wanted in America for alleged widespread illegal file sharing, has vowed to build an alternative internet to combat privacy and freedom problems online. Well, we can talk more about this with Dimitri Kleiner. He joins us. He's a privacy activist and software developer. And Dimitri, you're very welcome to RT. Firstly, what are your thoughts then on Dotcom's idea? Why is there a need, do you think, for this alternative internet?
Well, the current internet as it exists right now suffers from a lot of privacy concerns, and a lot of those privacy concerns actually, I mean, some of them are inherent to the architecture of the platforms, but a lot of them are actually related more to the business models of a lot of the kind of companies that make money on the internet. Companies like Google and Facebook, make their money by targeting advertising, and targeting advertising is, of course, requires to know a lot more about you than untargeted advertising. So the more they know about you, the more they can sell these ads for. So, I mean, Dotcom's proposal is not something that I've seen too many details about, although he has been mentioning MegaNet for a few years now. I think as early as 2015, he was already mentioning MegaNet. And there's a lot of things that sound pretty good about what he's proposing, especially the idea of using mobile devices more actively. It's not clear what he means by that, whether he means that there'll be an overlay network on top of the kind of IP internet that adds anonymity along the lines of something like Tor or Antox, or whether he plans to use the Bluetooth or NFC or direct Wi-Fi capabilities of the mobile phones themselves to create a so-called mesh network along the lines of Briar or several other applications. But in any case, more development in this area would certainly be good. The better platforms that consumers have that deliver privacy and anonymity, the more we have, the better. But
sure.
That won't necessarily affect the actual concerns of data being collected by the likes of Google and Facebook.
And another item we've sort of been mentioning this evening is the speed at which people can use the internet. With these net neutrality rules being rolled back, is Dotcom's idea a way of circumventing those alternative rules that are going to come into force?
So we need to know more about the architecture to actually make a claim either way. If it is planning to use the kind of radio capabilities of mobile phones themselves in the Bluetooth, NFC, and Wi-Fi capabilities those phones have to create sort of a mesh network, then you could have an advantage that it's much more difficult to block than centralized things. So net neutrality wouldn't affect it as much directly. However, it still may be a slower service than what people are used to right now, given a neutral internet.
Any drawbacks that you can think of having an alternative internet? I suppose some people might say there's too much anonymity there, and perhaps it will be sort of fair game for criminals and the like. What's your response to that argument?
Well, it seems to me the criminals aren't having a terrible amount of difficulty operating on the internet as it is today, and having a more alternative internet that's more controlled by its users gives us better options in order to wish to protect ourselves. We can have like collaborative moderation and collaborative block lists and stuff like that could make user-driven ways to defend against this stuff more effective, rather than being completely in the hands of Facebook and Google and Twitter and only being able to access the protections that they provide.
And can you see the public taking to this alternative internet quickly, or would there be problems for them to connect? I mean, what are your thoughts on that, on its accessibility?
Well, I think that there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions need to be looked at there. One is, of course, how user-friendly and usable this kind of stuff is. We know without a clear business model like advertising that Facebook and Google has, you have to question where the investment's going to come from to create the kind of rich user experience that users are used to market it, to promote it, to support it, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, given the right support, I definitely think that an alternative could be made and it could be very popular. However, it's not clear where that support could come from, short of public institutions, because as a private entrepreneur, Dotcom only has can only spend money that he can earn back, and it's not clear how he would earn money on such a thing, given that advertising and surveillance would not be used.
Sure. OK, Dimitri, look, we'll leave it there, but really good to get your insight on this. That was Dimitri Kleiner, privacy activist and also a software developer. Thank you.